Now at 5:30 on Eyewitness News, when you think of dangerous professions, does teaching make the list?
I've been kicked, I've been pinched.
And she jumped behind me and was choking me.
Students attacking teachers is a disturbing trend.
And it's happening in the Carolinas. Channel 9's education reporter Jonathan Lowe investigated and heard firsthand from teachers who say it's happening to them.
After teaching for more than 20 years, this educator decided last December she'd had enough. So she retired earlier than planned.
I would have loved to continue teaching for another 3-5 years, but due to the behaviors and the lack of support and the safety issues, I didn't feel safe.
She asked we not use her name or mention the local school where she spent 7 years. She says she didn't just feel unsafe at the school, but also not supported.
I've been kicked, I've been pinched, students have tried to bite me, I've had bruises on my legs from that. A student threatened to throw a chair at me. Another colleague was shoved and punched in the stomach.
But a series of incidents involving a second grade student is what she says pushed her over the edge.
This particular second grade student had made threats to shoot all the teachers and shoot all the students. Then 3 weeks later, I encountered that student with a gun in his front pocket of his sweatshirt. I immediately removed the student from the classroom and restrained him in the hallway while he was fighting to get away from me.
She says that gun was actually a realistic-looking toy gun. Even so, she didn't think school administrators took the threat seriously.
The student was in second grade, and they can't suspend a second grade student.
So was this student put back in your class?
Yeah. Yeah.
What was that like?
That was very traumatic for me. That just solidified my decision to leave. I did not feel safe.
Student assaults on teachers is a concerning trend. Channel 9 partnered with our sister stations across the country to ask teachers about their experiences with student assault. More than 8,000 teachers in 34 states weighed in, including 857 in North and South Carolina.
For example, a CMS teacher said they were just out of physical therapy after a student with previous aggression fits kicked their knee in. A Rowan County teacher described being hit in the face with a lap desk by a student, causing a scratched cornea. They say the student was suspended for just 3 days before returning to the same classroom.
She had ran the charge into me and knocked me down. And when she knocked me down, that's when the other one got her hands on me, and she jumped behind me and was choking me back here, pulling me on my neck and pulling out my hair.
Last year, I spoke to a battered and bruised substitute teacher, Renata Horton, the day 2 female students attacked her in a classroom.
I'm hurt that I didn't have hardly no support today.
Teachers who took part in our survey described similar experiences. 70% said violence has caused them to consider leaving the profession, either quitting or retiring.
We sort of live in a society where violence is an issue, and I think that schools could be considered a microcosm of our larger society.
Dr. Susan McMahon led an American Psychological Association task force that studied incidents of violence against teachers. She says when educators leave the classroom, there's a direct impact to those who stay.
But when people are leaving, that stresses the existing people. And then, of course, often people are leaving because they've had really pretty serious traumatic experiences with violence and aggression.
More than a third of respondents from North and South Carolina said they'd been subjected to physical violence from a student more than once. 63% said they experienced verbal abuse many times.
I think it's certainly a crisis in our country.
We also asked teachers if they generally feel safe in the classroom. 64% said yes, but more than half reported feeling afraid to go to school sometimes. And 23% said their school does very little to deter violence. Despite how it ended, this teacher says she misses the career she loved, and she worries the violence is causing lasting damage to her beloved profession.
My hope and prayers would be that the public, the school administration, the school board, the government officials would take notice and realize what teachers are going through.
In Shirley, Jonathan Lowe, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
Now, as Jonathan mentioned, stations across the country partnered with us for this survey of teachers. You can see more results from our area and other cities at WSOC-TV.com inside Jonathan's report.